So, we looked at how in the book of Acts, right, we see a map, a generation map of churches that were started. Jerusalem to Antioch, Antioch throughout the region, then from Ephesus throughout the region of Asia. Right, the New Testament doesn't just give us this generational map of churches and streams, but it also talks about the health of the churches that were started. When we look at Jerusalem, right, and going back to Acts 2, it says that the church in Jerusalem was a very healthy church. Right? It says that they devoted themselves to teaching, to fellowship. Right? That they had the breaking of bread. Right? That they were giving to each other so that nobody was in need. Right? It also says that they met every day, that they were worshiping. Right? This was an example of an extremely healthy church. And because of this, right, that the Lord was adding to their numbers daily. As the persecution happens and we get back to the second generation, right, we see a church where the people were first called Christians. We see the Spirit talking to the leaders of the church to set aside Barnabas and Paul to go out and start churches. As we talked about in the last video, we see number of churches started throughout the book of Acts. As we bring in the epistles, we can start thinking about and looking at how the elements of health within these churches matched up with the church at Jerusalem. For example, in Ephesus, when Paul was in Ephesus, we see that as the book of Acts tells us, that the gospel was ringing out throughout the whole region over that time of 2 years.